What turned you into a villain for the rest of the world? One day my kids came up to me and told me they didn't want to go over to mommy's house anymore. I had split custody with my ex, but this was the first time when they outright refused to visit her for the weekend. I knelt down to their level and asked them what was up. Did mommy say something to you? Then they told me how mommy's new boyfriend would make them do weird things, and also made them promise not to tell anyone. When I asked what these things were, my heart was shattered into a million pieces. He would make both my kids stand in front of a camera and strip to their undies. Then he would take a few pictures, give them both some candy, and go back to his room. At first, my kids were happy to get free candy, but they eventually realized that something was wrong and became uncomfortable. So they asked him to stop, and my wife's boyfriend landed an open-handed slap on my daughter's face. They went to their mommy to complain and told her the absolute truth while crying. But instead of helping them, she told them to stop being jealous of her new relationship. She was under the impression that I had told our kids to spin this story and simply refused to believe them. I was so angry, but also distraught at the same time. The first thing I did was call the cops, but the person who showed up was my wife's brother-in-law, who was also a deputy. He told me the same thing that my wife said to our kids: stop being jealous and stop telling disgusting lies about other people just because you can't handle their happiness. I don't know what kind of mother my ex-wife was being that she didn't even consider the possibility of her boyfriend actually doing this. But I knew one thing, which was, I couldn't just stay still. I sent my kids to my parents' house before taking action. I was a regular at this local bar where I had made friends with these two ex-convicts. Both of them agreed to go along with my plan. We waited for my wife to leave for work and snuck into her house to find the boyfriend. I knew he was unemployed, so he was probably in his room all day. He looked terrified when he saw me entering the house and tried to scream, but we stuck a cloth muffler into his mouth. You see, I was under the impression that he was using those photos he took to get himself off like a sicko, so my plan was to simply find the photos, delete them forever, and threaten him enough so that he never does it again. But then the boyfriend confessed as to what he was actually doing. Turns out, he had a very long line of other sickos who wanted to buy these photographs and were paying him top dollar for them. He had about 6 copies of each photo, ready to be shipped out in a couple days' time. The severity of the situation dawned on me, and I realized that if my kids didn't have enough courage to come to me, then I never could have stopped these photos from going out there. My eyes just saw red, and I lost control. I grinded the boyfriend's head in with the iron knuckles I had been wearing and didn't stop until my 2 friends dragged me off of him. I knew what I had done would land me in prison, which would mean my kids would go to my wife, and her next boyfriend could potentially do a similar thing to them. So I just started crying on the wooden floor. This is when one of my friends told the other to take me home and made a joke about how prison life suits him better anyway. I looked at him and for a brief moment forgot all of his past crimes and simply nodded my head with respect.